going on, guys, and welcome to another video. My name is David Falla for everyone that is new to the channel, and today we have a new video transformation. It's a back to school type of haircut on kids that I know many of you want to see this. It's going to be a super cool video. Before I start, I have a couple a thing to tell you guys. November 9, I'm going to be going to Mexico City to teach a class at Barberia Don Pancho. So if you guys are in Mexico or you guys can go over there, I'll be teaching a class there. So I'm super excited because this is, it's like a very good opportunity. It's a new opportunity, something I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'm super grateful for being able to do this. So I would love to see you guys there. I'm gonna leave the information here in the description and also here on the screen so you guys can contact the organizer and talk to him about all the details. Second, how you can see the background is a little different. I'm trying to set up like a little studio for me to work and do the videos and all that stuff. So this is just how it looks now. It's gonna be a work in progress, so it's gonna be pretty cool. So and last thing before we start the video, we almost are 100,000. So wow, guys, this is amazing. I'm so excited about it. So for those that haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it. And let's start with the tutorial. So let's start. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and wet the hair. I like starting from the top. My haircuts, most of the time I start from the top, create the shape, and then it makes it easier to go ahead and fade that from that already having the shape on top. So here we're gonna go ahead and part the hair into three. We're gonna create a middle section. This section is gonna be our guide. This is gonna give us the shape that we want. It's gonna be a square shape on the front, a slight triangle on the front, just because it's gonna be a little bit longer, but that's about it. So you can see I grab the section. I'm gonna cut a square shape following the floor, so not really following the head, but I'm following the floor. So it's gonna be square. On the front I'm gonna over direct the hair a little bit, just because that part of the head obviously round, so I want to make sure I continue going straight. So now we're gonna go ahead and follow that guide. We're gonna start taking horizontal sections. We're gonna go ahead and follow that guide. I'm point cutting right away just because I wanna my client has thick hair, so I want to make sure that I start thinning it out a little bit. So I'm using point cutting to kind of create already to create some texture on it, right? So we're just following the middle guide that we created. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Here we're gonna cut it following 90 degrees off the head. So and this is because this part of the hair is gonna start rounding a little bit. We're gonna round it a little bit, and because I want it to fall nicely, so and I don't want a lot of weight there. So usually for men haircut, you want to keep a square everywhere, but in this case I'm just slightly rounding this side, just because, how I said, I don't want as much weight, and the client has a lot of hair. You guys know how kids have so much hair and it grows so quickly, so we don't want to leave it too long. So in this case I'm doing the same thing, just pulling it straight 90 degrees from the floor. And on the back, you can see the client has thick hair and also straight, so if you cut it too short, the cowlick is going to spike up and you're going to have all sort of problems. So on the cowlick area, I'm actually leaving it a little bit longer, and this is something you really want to be careful with, because if you cut the cowlick too short, that's it, you gotta let it grow. So here I'm just double cross checking, using vertical sections now, just to make sure everything is even. And that's about it. That's for the top. So now I'm gonna cut the side and kind of the cowlick part. So here I'm taking a block graduation sectioning. This is just gonna ensure that my shape on that side is gonna be a square shape. So I'm just taking a section and just cutting it. This is gonna be my guide, to say it like that. On the back, how you can see the client has a big cowlick, so I gotta be careful with it. So when I'm doing it, this is it's dropping a little bit. I'm creating like a triangle shape, how you can see on the back, and just pulling it, pulling in diagonal, just to start cut it. But I don't want to cut too much of the length, so because obviously, how I said, the cowlick is, if we cut it too short, then it's gonna spike up. So we're gonna go ahead and dry the hair. It doesn't have to be fully dry, but we just gotta dry it so we can start cutting with clippers. For some reason, the camera didn't record my first step. So my first step, I just grabbed the machine with the lever open and just created my guide. That's it. That's the only thing. For some reason the camera didn't record, but sorry about that. So yeah, just created my first guideline. So usually with kids, a tip that I can tell you is that kids, they're gonna start moving at some point of the haircut, right? That's for the most part, that's just the way it is. So what I like to do is that I create my first guideline, and then I do the shape out right away. I think because the shape out, you need the client to be very steady, you know, and then to stay to not move. And if the kid starts moving during the shape out, it's a problem. So I usually do the shape out first like that. Even if the kid starts moving, doing the fade is actually easier than the shape out. So anyway, here I'm using clipper over comb with the clipper with the lever open. Remember, my first guideline was doing with this machine with the lever open. So I'm kind of just starting to blend the top, which is already cut, into my first guideline. So pretty much just using clipper over comb to give it that shape, just following the shape that I created with the scissors pretty much, and just blending that down into my guideline. You know, like, just be careful, make sure that you maintain the comb. How you can see, it's a square, it's straight, so you don't change the shape that you already created with the scissors. So here we're gonna go ahead and use a number 3. We're gonna start down fading with a number 3. We're gonna start always with the lever open, and then we're gonna close it little by little. This is the way I like to fade. I think it's easier, at least for me it is, and for my students. Everybody has different techniques, and honestly, you use the technique that you think that is best. This is just the technique that I have found that is easier for me to teach, and for my students have had great success fitting this way, so why not, right? So here we're gonna go ahead and use a number 2 with the lever open, and then we're gonna close it little by little, and then and we're gonna continue with the same process of down fading. And the good thing about clipper over comb is that it avoids us having to use so many other clips, you know, or the guards. So how you can see, I'm just starting with a 3 and I'm just fading down from there. So you know, it's a great technique, and I do all my haircuts using clipper over comb. Like that saves me time. It allows me to create the shape of the haircut as well. So it's an amazing technique, and I recommend you guys to use it. And now we're gonna go ahead and use our number 1 and just continue the same process. Just lever open, and then little by little you're closing it. How you can see, the client is starting to move a little bit, and that's just normal. So we're gonna work quicker on him. So after the 1, we're gonna go ahead and use 0 or 1/16, and we're gonna create the same process. Lever open, then close, and once we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and use the machine again with the lever open with no guard, which was our first guideline, and we're gonna fade whatever is left. So I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of the fading process. And since it's pretty much the same techniques we'll be using, I want you guys to see it, and I hope you guys understand it. If you guys don't understand my fading process is, just leave me a comment below, and then maybe we can discuss it more. Okay, so now that we're done with the fade, now we're gonna go and start shaping up the forehead. So here it's the same technique that I usually use. I just go ahead and start right in the middle, create a guideline right in the middle, and then connect, kind of work my way out. Just make sure you don't push the hairline back if you don't need to. You know, especially with kids, like, I feel like a lot of barbers tend to cut a lot of the baby hairs just because they feel like it's gonna look sharper if they push it back or whatever. And yeah, it's gonna look sharper, but that's not what you want. You know, kids' hair grows very quickly, so if you push it back like in 2-3 days, it's gonna start already looking like that. So just try to make sure you always keep the natural line. Just make sure that you don't push it back, and then you know, like, if they have baby hairs, then, you know, maintain those baby hairs there. You know, at some point those baby hairs are either gonna get darker and fuller, or they're gonna go away, right? So just try to maintain them as much as possible. If you guys have problems shaping out the foreheads, then obviously don't forget to use your mirror always. Okay, so here I'm gonna go ahead and texture the hair a little bit. How I said, the client has a really thick hair, so it needs to be like a little bit texture. So I'm using a channeling cutting technique. This is just gonna create direction, and also it's gonna go ahead and kind of give the client a little bit of less bulk on the top, which is something that we want. So in this case, the client wanted like a little something, like a little design on the sides, so you know, like a little line or something. So I told you guys before, I don't do many designs. Like my clientele doesn't really get designs like that, just because of the area where I work. So I really don't get to do them, even though you guys always ask me for them. So, but here I have one, you know, something simple. It's something that I think it looks nice, and at least you guys get to see how my process of making like a little design or something is. So I said, like, I don't practice it a lot anymore, but I'm always be an artist. I have, you know, I used to, when I was little, I used to paint and used to draw and used to do sculptures and do all that. So, you know, like even if I don't practice it, I'm still gonna have that artistic side of me, right? So yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys watch the process of doing this little design. So yeah, that was the design. I think it looks super cool, especially the client has really nice hair for this type of lines and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So here I'm using the razor on the forehead. I also use the razor on the design, and don't forget to always apply you know, like a shaving product or something that is gonna allow you to shave easier. In water, or if you can afford a shaving product, even better, because you really want to make sure that the client doesn't feel you shaving in, like, or maybe you cut them and things like that. So that's why the skin needs to be lubricated every time you shave. It's very important, and it ensures that the client's skin is not gonna get irritated. It also makes it like a smooth haircut, and you want your clients to feel like, you don't want them to be in pain because you're, you know, kind of with the razor, like scratching them or any of that. So anyways, here I'm just using a little bit of product, and I'm gonna show you how before it was, and you guys can see how crazy the transformation was. Look at him, you know, he looks now, and look how he looks now. He looks so fresh. I'm gonna tell you something, he's gonna be the coolest kid in his school. Like, come on, look at that. Like, looks like a model now. So I think yeah, that was a super cool haircut, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.